New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? It's JLS from Knick Of Time Show. Here, give you that Knicks talk, just in Knick of Time. Talking Knicks basketball, rumors, and once again with my guys, Lee Escobedo and Ryan G in the building. All right, and we have some spicy stuff to talk about. Right, we got some spice to talk about. We're gonna talk about Zion Williamson. Okay, Zion Williamson has been in the news. It's if you're reading the team leaves, it seems like the Pelicans are fed up and they might be exploring trades for him. Okay, it looks like they were trying to trade him for the number 3 pick. But Portland's like, nah, I don't trust that his knees and his health is going to be a non-issue, and they don't want to trade for Zion Williamson. So, listen, we all know. I don't know if you remember, Ryan, back in the day, Zion Williamson was first drafted into the NBA. He wanted to go to New York. And I was trying to even dismiss it because I'm a guy who's like, it's rumors. But then when you interviewed Zion Williamson, every time he brought up New York and the Knicks, he looked like a giddy school kid. His face got bright. He started giggling. He's like, and he tripped over himself. You know what I mean? So I can definitely see Zion being interested in coming to the Knicks eventually. I'm not sure if that something like that would happen in this offseason or even in the future, but I can see Zion being interested in coming to New York Knicks now. Let's go to Ryan G. How would you feel about Zion coming to the Knicks? Would you make that trade? And I would assume that, I think I'm gonna get it, we're on the same page here. If Zion is coming to the Knicks, Randall would be out, correct?
Yeah, that would probably be the most likely move. Zion would be here to replace Randall. So, okay, first and foremost, Zion is a generational talent. There's no debate about that. The man is just out of this world. Here's my concern with him, because you have to think about it. A generational player like Zion Williamson, if you have a player like that on your squad, you would not be trying to trade this player. You would be doing everything within your power to keep this player on your squad, knowing that with this player on our squad, that gives us the best chance to win. Why are the Pelicans, why is there even rumors that the Pelicans are willing to let go of Zion Williamson, this generational talent? One of the reasons, health. You look at the games played. He's played 114 games in 4 seasons. That's crazy right there.
Yeah.
So a player that only plays 114 games in 4 seasons is a player that's unavailable, is a player that, even though he's a generational talent, he's not helping out. He's not helping your team get to where it needs to get to because he's barely on the court. So you have to take that into account as well. So it's like, okay, if I'm the Knicks and I know that to acquire Zion Williamson, I have to give up a lot of assets to even convince the Pelicans to pull the trigger and bring Zion to New York. Am I willing to take a risk on a player who's only played 114 games in 4 seasons in the NBA? And then on top of that, I know people are saying that, yeah, he wants to come to New York. He's always wanted to come to New York, and you even have people, saying some outrageous things, talking about, the reason why he's so often hurt is because he's trying to get out of New Orleans and whatever the case may be, and this and that. The thing is, you cannot trust that to be the case. If a player shows you in 4 years that he's having trouble staying healthy, and then on top of that, his weight is also an issue, he's having trouble staying in shape and staying at a reasonable playing weight, which would help him with his injuries if he could slim down a bit,
Mm-hmm.
it does cause a concern. If Zion Williamson was healthy, it'd be a no-brainer.
He wouldn't be on
I'd
the
be
trade
like,
block.
yeah,
If he was
I'm throwing all the assets.
healthy,
I'm bringing that man to New York. No-brainer if he was healthy. But the fact that he's only played 114 games in 4 seasons and his weight is an issue, that's a cause of concern. And I would only take a risk on Zion Williamson if the price is low. If the price is too high, I'm not taking that risk.
100% yes. I'm all in.
I was waiting for somebody. I was like, somebody's gonna say it. Somebody
Zion can
yes.
come. Mariah Mills can come. It's a whole bandwagon of all the Black China bid sheets. Like, let's go, baby. Bring them all to New York. Like, I mean, I'm sure that Dolan can have a penthouse for all the thoughts that he can visit, post game, pre game, off days.
Oh my god!
I mean, it bring a whole new definition of back to back. I am totally down for Zion Williamson in New York. The centerpiece would be Julius Randle. You solve one issue, which is are they committing to either Obi or Randle? If Randle's moved for Zion, Obi could go with him, or he could be rerouted in a third team, or it's an insurance policy for Obi for Zion's injuries, which are bound to happen. You have now Obi Toppin in a larger, higher usage, higher role, higher minutes. So I think there's a lot of pluses. You need to run Zion as a small ball five and play Obi next to him. I know Tibbs ain't that creative, but let's hope that at some point he either continues to evolve or there's another coach that has an acumen to play a small ball center. Against certain teams, Zion has proven he can be a very excellent playmaker from in the front court.
Oh, I'm not talking about playmaking. Go ahead, continue.
So I'm in, man. I think it'll be Randle. I know they wanted Scoot Henderson with that third pick. Emmanuel quickly satisfies a starting point guard role for New Orleans. You send Emmanuel quickly, you send Julius Randle, maybe even Mitchell Robinson or Isaiah Hartenstein, one of them, and maybe you can extend it to get Jonas Valanciunas back if they want to shed some salary. There's ways to mix and match to decrease the pick load and give them more players, because New Orleans would be in win now mode. They wouldn't be interested so much in draft picks as they would in some of the players that have proven themselves to be solid contributors, like Emmanuel quickly and Julius Randle. So, man, it's one of those things you can't not do it. Like, when he's on, damn, dude is the most dominant force in the NBA now that LeBron James has gotten older. And I think to me, he's worth the risk. Ryan, I agree with you. I don't think he gets injured so he doesn't play for New Orleans. But I think his rehabs last longer. I think his injuries stay injured because he does not have the passion to play for the New Orleans Pelicans, which is a damn shame, man, because New Orleans is one of my favorite cities on earth. I mean, it's like one of the most thoughtiest, dankest cities in all of the United States of America. You can do some wild shit in New Orleans, man. And I'm surprised Zion hasn't found some fun and some fun things to do out on Bourbon Street. But the Pelicans are a competitive team. They have a great roster, and when they're healthy, they were a top 4 seeded team last year in the Western Conference. You add Zion to Brunson and his buddy RJ, bruh, and Grimes. If I thought Zach LaVine made us a contender, that makes us a championship, a solid championship team with Zion Williamson. It's what Knicks fans have wanted since 2019 when he was up to be drafted. Let's bring him home, baby. He wants to be here. Let's fun all the stops. Bring all the stops. Every single thought coming to New York. I mean, my God, man, give him the buffet. Let's go.
Man, give him the buffet. No, get away from the buffet. Push away from the table. That's the whole.
I'm talking about the lady buffet.
Oh, the lady
buffet. Work that cardio, baby. Let's go.
Hold up though, because Lee just brought up something, and I want to get this off my chest because, as you know, the news surrounding Zion Williamson as women, right? So, as Lee pointed out, the women in New Orleans, bad as hell. But I do want to go back to this interview you had. I think it was with Slam Magazine, if I'm mistaken. Correct me. And it was with Brandon Ingram, and it was with CJ McCollum. And they asked Zion his favorite cities he loves to visit. And I think he mentioned New York, Toronto, and Dallas.
Yes.
Now,
New York turned around. I'm talking Dallas.
Though, so
Mhm.
so when he mentioned Dallas, CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram was kind of poking fun at him because they was like, why he mentioned Dallas for? And now look, I haven't been to Dallas, but I've been to Texas and I've been to Houston. Trust me, I see why James Harden's jersey is retired at them strip clubs in Houston because damn son, those Texas women are so bad. And trust me, Zion, I understand. I fully understand why Dallas is one of your favorite cities to go to. Texas women are bad. Bring them all to New York City, please. And when you come to New York, just transport them all to New York City, please. Please.
Ryan, I am in Dallas, and I can attest. There's not only are there baddies here, it's one of the best strip club cities in the entire continental United States. 3 letters, ecstasy. That is the spot. I know Zion's been, and if he goes to the Knicks, I will treat him to a night out on the town at ecstasy VIP bar. Let's go.
Do we need Zion spending more money?
We need the Knick Of Time Show, live and direct from ecstasy. Come on, baby. Let's have that podcast in the strip club.
Yo, that would break viewing records.
Oh
That
my
would break
God.
viewing records.
I'm glad you had the opposite lead because I was about to say, are we all going to agree? No. I'm glad you had the opposite. Just for argument's sake today.
Yeah, let's debate. Let's talk about it.
No, he's a generational. Like, there's no doubt about it. A man dropped off the earth first year, dropping 20 points a game efficiently, and has continued to done that. I do not doubt his talent. The passion though. Like the passion scares me. Like that saying hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Like I've seen talented people who don't put the work in fall, and I'm scared that is what he is. And you kind of talked about it, Lee. You're not motivated to be in New Orleans, right? But now you're watching your team compete for the play-in, making noise. Ingram's taking a step. He's passing Savant. You got these guys playing in all cylinders, and you telling me even then you're not motivated to get back into the game? Like I would think a guy who's a competitor, a guy who's passionate for the game, would see his team on that upward trajectory and be like, "Yo, I want to get in there." And the fact that he hasn't been motivated to get things right, get his body right, to get in there to do that, is concerning to me. Like it really is. I do feel like discipline is a huge issue. And even when that whole stripper OnlyFans thing was happening, and she was going off on Twitter about, oh, you going with this one and that woman, I was ignoring all that. The one thing I noticed that was a red alarm for me was when she said, and I came in your room and I saw nothing but soda bottles, empty soda bottles all over the place. And I was sitting here like, this is a man who has a weight issue. And he still has a soda addiction. Like, he has a lot of discipline and hurdles to jump to get to a weight where he can be maintained and he can stop missing games. Because I do feel like the discipline and the missing of the games is kind of connected. And that's my biggest worry with Zion. Is he disciplined enough and is he passionate enough to do the dirty things to stay in the game? Because even what's my man's name who was on the Pelicans who's now on First Take right now? JJ Redd. He even said it himself. He was just like, I told Zion himself, if you want to be successful, you have to do the dirty things. To be successful is not enough to love to play the game of basketball, but you have to put the work in behind the scenes. And I'm not sure if he's willing to do that, which is why I'm petrified of bringing him here.
Very, very valid concerns. And if the trade was like all of our young pieces, Obi, IQ, and Grimes, I would be against it. If Brunson was involved in any trade, I would be against it. but a Julius Randle centerpiece with Emmanuel Quickly and like maybe 2 Knicks picks, I think it's worth the risk. I think Ryan said it best. It all depends on the price. And right now, the price has never been lower. I think we can all agree on that. It's the off the court issues with women, it's the weight issues, it's the injury issues, the passion issues, the optics, all of it has decreased his value on the open market. And that plays to the other 29 teams' advantage. And the Knicks being one of them, with a team that he really wants to go to, there's some bargaining power there. And I think the Knicks to probably get away with really selling Randle, going back to New Orleans, where he had his first solid season, and he would fit in seamlessly playing with Brandon Ingram again, because they were teammates with the Lakers. I think that would be a really solid fit for Randle at the 4, and then Emmanuel quickly solves their point guard issues. That could be the basis of a trade, and we only give up 2 picks and maybe 1 swap, it's worth it, man, because if Zion hits, if he does find that joy and passion in a city that he actually wants to play for, with his best buddy in the NBA, RJ Barrett, for a coach that ain't gonna put up with any bullshit, and Tom Thibodeau, man, I think there's a lot of things there that might set up Zion for success. And if it doesn't work, well, his contract's not that bad. He's only getting paid in the 30 million range. And I think his extension, he's maybe got like 2 or 3 years more on that extension. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it's not something that's going to, hamper you for the next half decade. It's something you can move off of eventually, but the pros greatly outweigh the cons. No pun intended.
I would say, okay, so I would say, what is his value if it's a miss, right? Because right now we have Randle. Granted, I totally agree. If you bring apples to apples, oranges, apples to apples, Zion over Randle, I'm picking Zion every day. No, like documentation, right? But if Randle is always healthy and playing games, he's an all NBA level, and you have a guy who's playing 30 games a season, you get to the end of his contract and you try to flip him. Now, when you try to flip him, what are you getting in return now? You're not like that return might not be what you want. You know what I mean? Like, so, like you burning 2 or 3 years of Jalen Brunson in his prime trying to win a chip. My man is not playing 30, is only playing 30 games, and now you're trying to flip him, and now you can't get an all NBA player back. You can get, $2 back. That's my concern.
Yeah, that's a very valid concern. I was wrong. He's in the first year of a 5-year extension. So I was wrong. There is a considerable extra risk, because it's not 3 more years, it's 5 more years, and it's an extending contract. The 5th year, he would be making $45 million in the 27 to 28 season. You got to hope that at least 3 out of those 5 he plays in more than half the games. That's got to be the hope.
It's
a hell of a hope.
That's a gamble, sir.
It is.
It's a huge gamble. It's one of those things where it's high risk, high reward. Like if he pans out, you have a generational talent that's gonna definitely upgrade your team tremendously and turn the Knicks into a contender. If it doesn't pan out, then you're stuck with a guy where you're paying him this crazy money for the next 4 or 5 seasons, and then that's when it's like, okay, so if you make that trade, right, and Zion doesn't pan out, then you have to pray to a guy that Obi pans out, where Obi improves to the point where it's like, okay, well, we don't have Zion here, but is Obi gonna, transform into that player where it's like, okay, he's at least playing at a good enough level to where it could,
that could handicap us,
kind of like, deal with not Zion being in the lineup. So
that would be handicap us for half a decade.
There's too many risky, things going on there. You know what I mean?
That's the ultimate insurance policy. Is you would have to keep Obi Toppin in that trade to make sure that if Zion is out, you have Obi starting in his place at the power forward position.
That's still not enough. That's a no for me, dog. That's rough. That's a woo.
I mean, hey, according to some Knicks, according to some Knicks fans, they believe Obi can drop 25 and 8 if you give him the time. So
I think he can give you like
According to
20.
some
I think he
Knicks
can give you 20 and 8. Will the defense be there? That's another story. But I think he can give you 20.
The 20 is more likely than the 8. I don't know about 8
the 20
rebounds.
is way more likely.
Maybe 4 rebounds, but 20, I think he can hit 20 because of his 3-point shot. I think he could.
Yeah, man.
So I'm a yes on Zion.
All right. I'm a no.
For me, it depends on price. If the price is low, I take a risk. If the price is high, I'm not taking that risk.
Ryan's puts the minimum. For me, and Leon would have to do due diligence. Like, he can't just be like, I need you to investigate your family, the eating habits, like what's going on with Therese Weatherspoon, what she had to say. He already knows Therese Weatherspoon.
Yeah,
from
good point.
Pelicans
Good point.
Fired. Like, I need to know what diet has he been. Why is he falling off this diet? Like, I need due diligence before you make a move like that can hamper us for 5 years. For real. But generational talent. If it ever didn't happen, I would hold my breath and hope for the best. All right.
Facts.
I would both be excited and terrified at the same time, the same damn time.
Facts. And Zion, do your work off the court. I know you make plays on and off the court, but do your work off the court too, my guy. Scout your women better, B. Make sure they're not crazy, all right? Scout your women better.
Dog. New York woman. If that OnlyFans, man, that OnlyFans woman is trying to take advantage. Look, New York woman would eat him alive. I don't know if he was alive. Like, play my guy. Damn, that would suck him. Pause. Dry when it comes to money. Money. It's money. All right, I'm transitioning out of this. All right.
Oh man, my last word is Zion needs better scouting reports. That's all I'm going to say. He needs better scouting reports.
I roll with that. Zion, you need better scouting reports. All right. That is our show. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Please hit that like and subscribe. And we're going to give you that Knicks news and NBA news to talk about. So definitely stay tuned and keep watching the Knick Of Time Show. That's our show. We out of here.
Peace.
New York, big city of dreams.